Hey guys, welcome to my channel. In this video we're going to talk through how I've completed this puffin, but rather than focusing on the bird itself, I want to just focus on some of the techniques that bring this drawing to life, particularly the textures and colour transitions in the beak. The beak is definitely the star of the piece, with its combination of smooth colour blends, sharp edges, subtle textures and strong contrasts. As always, I'll walk you through my process from start to finish and explain the decisions I made along the way. I begin by working on the eye. Whenever I'm working on a wildlife drawing, I like to establish the eye first because it immediately gives the subject some life and personality. The eye also provides a useful reference point for the surrounding features and helps to judge values and contrasts throughout the rest of the drawing. For the eye, we're going to focus on building up the dark values gradually while preserving the highlights. Keeping those brightest areas clean is essential because they create that reflective, glossy appearance that make the eye look realistic. Going in with a white waxy pencil also helps to preserve this white highlight. Then just started to add some of the small features around the eye. Once this section is complete, I move straight onto the beak. The beak contains a surprising amount of colour and texture, so rather than just jumping around the drawing, I worked on one section at a time. This helps me stay organised and allows me to concentrate on each area individually before moving on. I started with the beige section of skin near the base of the beak. Although this area appears fairly simple from a distance, it contains subtle shifts in colour and value that are important to capture. I begin with light layers and gradually build up the tones, paying close attention to the soft transitions around the edges, adding some small dots for texture. One thing I always remind myself when working with coloured pencil is that it's much easier to add colour than it is to remove it. Taking a slow, layered approach gives you much more control and helps maintain a smoother finish. So next I move on to the black section of the top of the beak. The black areas can be deceptively challenging because they're rarely just black. There are often subtle variations in temperature and value that create form and dimension. In the top section on the black there are some blue tones, but then in the bottom section there are some orange tones. And instead of pressing hard immediately, I build up the dark values in layers, preserving the lighter areas where the light was catching the surface. This helps create the illusion of curvature and prevents the black areas from appearing flat. And then we repeat the similar process on the lower section of the beak using some of the orange tones. At this stage, I'm paying particular attention to the edges and contours. Sharp edges tend to attract the viewer's eye, so take extra time to help create a more polished and realistic result. One of the more important things when drawing a beak like this is understanding the texture comes from value changes rather from outlines. Instead of drawing every little detail individually, I'm looking for patterns of light and shadow that suggest texture naturally. Now that the darker sections were established, I move on to the vibrant orange and red areas. This is where the beak really starts to come alive. The key here is layering colours gradually and allowing them to interact rather than trying to achieve the final colour in a single layer. By building up multiple layers, you can create richer colour transition and a more natural appearance. I also pay close attention to the direction and the form of the subtle ridges that run through the beak. Small changes in pressure can help create the illusion of texture without making the surface look overworked. At this point of the drawing, most of the attention has been on the beak, and that's really intentional. The beak is the focal point of this portrait, so I want to spend the majority of my time developing the colours, textures, and contrast in the area before moving on to the feathers. By the way, if you'd like to follow along in every single stage of this drawing in real time, the complete puffin tutorial is available on my Patreon. And we have around 90 tutorials over on the website as well. I'll leave a link in the description below where you can find the full-length version along with the reference photo, colour list, line art, everything you need to complete this by yourself. So once I'm happy with the beak, I move on to the black feathers on the top of the head. Just like the black areas of the beak, these feathers aren't simply a solid black shape. They're subtle variations in value that help determine the feather groups and create depth. I focus on creating smooth transitions between the darkest shadows and the slightly lighter areas where the feathers catch the light. These small differences are what help the feathers feel soft and natural. After that, I worked on the white feathers alongside of the face. White feathers can often be more challenging than dark feathers because you're relying almost entirely on shadows and subtle value changes to create form. Instead of drawing white, I'm really drawing the shadows within the white areas. By carefully observing those soft greys and preserving the brightest highlights on the paper, the feather texture begins to emerge naturally. Next, I move on to the black feathers on the body. Again, I work in layers, gradually building depth while paying attention to feather direction and texture. It's important not to make every feather equally detailed. By varying the amount of detail, you create more natural appearance and help guide the viewer's eye towards the focal point. And you'll notice while I'm adding the black and white feathers, I'm using all of the same colors that I've used throughout the beak. So I'm using the oranges, yellows, blues, all really lightly through the black and white feathers to make it a cohesive piece. Because although it is black and white feathers, there are bounce lights that come off other objects, and there are reflections and different colors that hit these feathers to give them a little bit more depth. So rather than just adding greys and blacks, we're adding in colors to help give it some more life. So for the white and the black feathers, when we're putting in these colors, we're only glazing them in really lightly. So what that means is that we're holding the pencil on the side, pretty far back on the pencil, and just really lightly glazing these pencils down. You don't want to go in with too hard a pressure because we don't want it to look blue, red, or yellow. We just want it to have a little hint of that color in there. So just going down really lightly and glazing these colors in. This area provides a nice contrast to the strong colors and darker values elsewhere in the portrait. The goal in here was to create soft feather texture while maintaining a clean, bright appearance of the puffin's chest. As I reached the final stages, I went back through the drawing and made some small adjustments where needed. These include refining edges, strengthening the darker values, and enhancing some light highlights to increase contrast. Those finishing touches might seem minor, but they're often what takes the drawing from looking good to looking complete. There was a small section of black feathers that just wasn't blending the way I wanted it, so I'm using some of my colour pencil liquid solvent just to blend it down really nice and smoothly, just to help cover the tooth of the paper so you can't see those little white bits coming through. But what you want to do is just wet the brush and then dry it off on some paper towel or some tissue. You don't want it dripping wet, just a little bit damp just to blend the pencil together. You don't want to use it like paint or anything, just a very damp brush. But I also say to my Patreons, if you feel like your paper is working fine, then you don't need to do this step at all. Overall, my favourite part of this piece is definitely the beak. It's such an interesting combination of colour, texture and structure, and provides a great opportunity to practice layering techniques and colour transitions with colour pencil. I hope you've enjoyed watching this puffin come together and hopefully picked up a few ideas that you can apply in your own colour pencil drawings. If you found this tutorial helpful, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more colour pencil tutorials. And if you'd like access to the full real-time version of this colour pencil puffin drawing, be sure to check out the Patreon link in the description and check out my website for all of the other tutorials. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks guys.